What's up, gamers? Welcome to another wonderful episode of Conversations Live. I'm that Game Dragon, and we are here with Mr. Barry Carenza of Premium Edition Games. We have a great show for you today, but before we jump into that, I want to remind everyone it is November, which means it is Movember. So please take the time to donate to this amazing cause for men's health. This covers cancers affecting men and mental illness affecting men. I've been doing it for years now. It's a great cause. They're great people, and everything goes all to the parties that need it. So take a little time to donate. It is Thanksgiving next week, so definitely we are in that mode. All right, now jumping right in. Welcome back, everybody. If you've noticed, our channel lineup is crazy. We have all types of things happening. We're covering video games, we're covering comics, we're covering music, we're covering pop culture, we're covering fashion. We're doing everything and anything under the sun that you care about. So stick to our network because we're going to be providing the best of everything just for you. So, Premium Edition Games. What do they do? Barry, I'm going to kick it over to you so you can give us a quick intro about what is Premium Edition Games. And I want to, from there, I know everybody's excited to talk about the games themselves, but what is Premium Edition Games?
Absolutely. So Premium Edition Games, first off, my name is Barry Carenza. Thank you for having me, and welcome to everybody watching. Premium Edition Games, we are a physical publisher for the Nintendo Switch. So what we do is we take digital-only titles, and we give them a new life. We give them, the treatment to the physical realm, but we don't just bring the games over. We try to go above and beyond. So every one of our releases, we try and give, the full color cover art. We do inlay art. We give a full color manual. We give a slipcase, and we give a sleeve to all the items, plus a challenge card. Each of our releases actually comes with a challenge card, and that is a challenge right from the developers. We like to go that extra mile to incorporate the developers in there. And if you do that and submit your completion, we will mail you a patch. Like you'll see here on my vest, we got patches. We like to do that as our way of saying thank you and letting people collect a physical achievement, harkening back to the Activision days. And we got started by two men, Jeffrey Wittenhagen and Jonathan Poland. They started Premium Edition Games, brought me on board really quickly thereafter. And from then on, the three of us have just moved on with a bunch of other team members. Like we have Frank, we got Eric, our designer, and we got new designers and people who do shows, and just a bunch of wonderful people have joined the team. And we're a small team, but because of that, we do a lot of things. And we launched last year, 2020, in the summer. We launched our Series 1 with our very first Direct. We announced games with, animated Directs. We try and be fun with it and get people involved. So we did our Series 1. People, who are you? Are you a real company? And we are. And we launched our first two games, which are Super Blood Hockey and the Pigeon Dev Games Collection, which came out and did extremely well. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people doing the challenge patches. And another thing we do is we do unboxing. So we want people to get their games. We want them to show it off. You do an unboxing patch, like do an unboxing video. We'll send you a patch. You send us an email. Here it is, and all that stuff. Just to kind of get the community involved. And each series gets its own unboxing patch too. So it's not like, oh, I did it for Super Blood Hockey, that's it. No, you can earn different patches, and each one is going to be different. And we just like to get everybody involved. So then those shipped out earlier this year, and in the summer we launched our Series 2 Direct. We waited until Series 1 was shipped. We wanted to make sure everybody got their games. And Series 2 launched brand new Direct, and we launched with two titles, Robot Named Fight and Demon's Tier Plus. These so far, the premium standards, which are these, have shipped. We also have other versions. We have our retro editions, which come with extra goodies in a retro inspired box. And we have our deluxe for select titles. Pigeon Dev Games Collection and Robot Named Fight have those. And what we try and do is those take a little bit longer to come out, but we try and pack it with goodies and give you some extra bonus stuff. So one of the things in Robot Named Fight, in the retro box and the deluxe, you get a steelbook, which here you could see.
Oh, that's nice.
People don't have these yet. These will be shipping hopefully next week. There's really nice. Our plan is to have the retros of Series 2 shipped by the end of this month. Hopefully next week they'll be shipping before the holidays. We just really want to get those out there, and they will be out soon. And the deluxe of Robot will be in Q1 2022. Unfortunately, with the world and the shipping, it's a little bit delayed. But then we launched Series 3, which we're here to talk about today. And Series 3 is up for order right now. We're doing a 4-week open pre-order. We did a direct, had some fun with it. And it opened on November 16th, so just a few days ago, and it goes to December 16th. So it's full, 4-week period. The standard premiums are $40, and they are open pre-order. So feel free to grab them. The retros are $60. Those are limited to 500 available on the website, and are practically sold out. They are very, very close
I'm
to
nervous. Before the show started, folks, I was just saying how I want to get my hand on all 3 games in this drop, and they're going fast. And I unfortunately missed out on Demon's Tier, which is something that Barry and I briefly spoke about too, and it's been impossible to find. So if you want these games, I implore you, pre-order quickly. It's going to be very difficult to find. Even trying to find them second handed on eBay, I haven't been able to, which is crazy. It's insane how difficult these games are to get after they're closed. So if you want these games and you're interested in them, please do yourself the favor so you don't have the heartache that I'm having about Demon's Tier, get them.
I do have a little bit of good news on Series 2. Once the retros are assembled, because they're being assembled now, and we ship out all pre-orders, we're going to assess how many we have left. And what we're going to try to do is, depending on how many we have left, I can't tell you that number because we don't know. It's not going to be a lot. After December 16th, sometime after December 16th, we're going to do a second chance sale for Series 2 retros. And whatever we have left, it could be 10, it could be 20, it could be 30. I don't know. It's not going to be a high number, but we're going to announce it, and we're going to put those up there for people who did miss it. Because unfortunately, people are just discovering us now, and that's the number one question I get when people discover us. Like, we do shows and people talk, how do I get the back games? I want to get the back games, and it's understandable. Like, and I'm sure other companies have done that too. We want people to be able to get our games. We might do preprints in the future. There's no guarantee, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to see the demand and try and meet the demand. And that's why we're doing open pre-orders, because we want people to get a chance to get the game. And you can't just, like, let's say we have like 6,352 orders. We can't just order that number. We have to order in groups of 1,000. So we would order 7,000, make sure all those get printed out and sent out, and then any remaining would do a second chance sale kind of deal.
And not to draw parallels, but if you folks have heard of limited run games, which I'm sure most of you have, if you're in the retro and the collection space and you're into physical copies, you know how difficult it is to try and get these things once they're gone. I mean, it's sometimes they sell out in a matter of a couple of hours, and you're just left there looking at these wonderful pictures. So we've been talking a lot about the games. I know folks are excited to see what is part of the offering. So I'm going to start showing just some of the images of the offerings here. So this is Cathedral.
Yes.
It's the retro edition of the game. And Barry, talk me through, what am I getting here when I pre-order this thing?
Sure. So this is the retro of Cathedral. What you're getting is the retail game, which obviously has the game in it. And one thing we will stress on all our releases, and we talk to all our developers about this, is we want the complete game on card. So we make sure that the game is done. There's no more new updates coming out. So when you pop in any premium edition game, you're getting the complete game on card. If we sign a game and they say, hey, there's going to be a content update coming in 3 months, we're working on it, we will not release that game until that content update is done. We want to make sure everyone gets the complete experience. So you're going to get
back to like buying cartridges.
Yeah, exactly.
Super Nintendo card. You got the complete game. That was it. You didn't have to worry about some crazy next day patch or, hey, this is half the game and I'm getting the other half 6 months later, and hopefully the devs that are still around to do this and are off running doing something else.
Exactly. So you're getting the complete game. We hate downloads and updates as well. So the retail game, you can see there, beautiful art case. You get the slipcase. In the slipcase, there is designed by Paulie Niemeyer, Mortal Kombat fame, wonderful
Yep.
designer, and did all our other previous slipcases. You're getting the manual, and that manual there, you'll see it looks black and white. But fun fact, everywhere that you see white is actually going to be foil. So it's going to look really badass. You get the challenge card, like I was talking about, where you can earn your challenge patch, and hopefully you do. And then that's the standard premium. Throwing in the retro, you get that retro box, that NES style inspired retro box. You get the full soundtrack, which I believe is 49 songs. It's a really long soundtrack. Wow. And a beautifully done artist as well redesigned our soundtrack for us from the team. And then we have the hand-drawn game guide done by Phil Summers, who did the hand-drawn game guides before and did the Kickstarter. He's doing a mini guide for us that's going to be like an SNES style manual, like a manual size of the early portion of the game, just to help you get started. And that's all going to be included at $60 for the whole thing.
Oh, it looks beautiful. I'm really excited about this. And for those of you, I understand some of you probably never heard of these games. So, Barry, I'm going to throw a trailer up because I think
let's do it.
I think it's going to lock it in. Folks are going to see this trailer and they're going to go ballistic over the nostalgia that they're going to have seeing some of these games. So let's start with Cathedral. If Castlevania and Ghouls and Ghosts had a baby, that would be it. It looks amazing. I'm having all types of retro flashbacks. Some of the frustration in some of those old games and their levels has gotten to me too. But amazing. I love what I'm looking at. I'm definitely brought back to the classic, like I said, that Metroidvania style, that retro art. I love the 8-bit look. You know, it's one of those things. Maybe I'm showing my age, but I think everyone does nowadays. You know, it's funny. We're in an age where we can create lifelike images in our games nowadays, and people just love that old retro look. They love playing games that look like the old school NES, SNES games. You know, I just started playing a couple of weeks ago Children of Morta, and it was just such an amazing experience. And I loved the animations and the graphics. And yes, they're old school and they're done in that 16-bit love affair that we had many decades ago. It feels, but they're just well done, and it proves that story and good gameplay can still dominate and experience. And so I love it. So
So
we got a couple more games I want to get
yes.
through. The next one is this guy right here, Mighty Fight Federation. Talk to
Absolutely.
me. What am I getting in this box?
Right. So Mighty Fight Federation is a 3D arena brawler in the vein of like Power Stone on the Dreamcast. So we
Love
really
it.
wanted to lean into that when it came to the design, and this was done by one of our new designers internally on the team who did a phenomenal job. So again, you get the retail game inside there. You get the game card complete with all the DLC fighters, and this game has 11 brand new fighters that are exclusive to this game, created for this game, all varied and all really awesome. But then it has 5 guest characters. You got Toe Jam and Earl, you've got Ukulele, you've got Kunio and Ricky from the River City Ransom Kunio Kun series, and then you got Miriam from Bloodstained. All these characters are also included on the card for you. You got the full color instruction manual, again, that challenge card, and that slipcase. And that slipcase is designed after the PSP Capcom game, specifically the Power Stone collection on PSP, with all the characters here done amazingly. And then the retro, as you get the soundtrack, and that soundtrack cover is designed after the Dreamcast release of Power Stone. You get a trading card set. That's a set of 6 cards. It's set A. There are 2 other sets, set B and C, that are available open pre-order on our webpage right now. Each card is a different fighter, and when you have all the cards and you put them together, you make a giant picture on the back, like the old school cards, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, stuff like that. So you get 2-sided cards. Just want to throw into that nostalgia. And then, of course, all that is housed in the retro box, which is designed after Mighty Final Fight on the NES from Capcom. Just done to perfection and total homage, and it's just a beautiful set.
Goosebumps. That's all I can say. I'm telling you, as soon as we're done, I am running to the page to pre-order all my games because I want to make sure that I'm not crying again like I was over the Demon's Teardrop. So let's take a look at this because it's amazing. And I love how you said it's Power Stone, revitalize the same thing.
It pays homage to it for sure.
Absolutely. And you see so many games nowadays trying to bring back that old feel with these classic fighters, right? You look at everyone's trying to copy Smash now. Nickelodeon's got their own Smash type game. DC just did their multiverses, which is going to be free to play. So everyone's trying to copy these classic games in some effect. But what I loved about your game and seeing the gameplay is that yes, it pays homage to the classic, but there's so much new in there that it's not just a new coat of paint and a change up in characters. I really feel like it's bringing that Power Stone to the next level. So let's take a look at it because rattling off isn't going to help.
One thing that's nice about this game is it's also cross-play. So if you get it on PC, you get it on PS4, you get Xbox, you'll be able to play with those people. The same with our Switch cart. So it's really nice because it has rollback netcode too for online play, which is really important for fighters.
Yes, that's wonderful. That for those pros out there, we all know how important low latency is when it comes to fighting. So let's take a look at it because it's fantastic, and I can't give it enough kudos. When you see it, you'll say, "Wow, this is something really special."
Get down.
Wow. I am just psyched about this game. I mean, Toe Jam and freaking Earl. The last
Hmm.
time I saw them was, oh my gosh, I want to say I was a little kid on Sega Genesis, kind of roaming around with these guys and thinking to myself, this is such a weird game, but it's so fun.
Oh yeah.
And when I think about this, I think about what Streets of Rage 4 did for that Streets of Rage series and those beat 'em
Absolutely.
ups, right? And this is, like you said, it's just a Power Stone all over again. That feel when you just look at it, and I can only imagine. I'm so excited to get this in my hands and to play and sit on the couch with the kids and just have them go
Absolutely.
at it. I think it's
It's
going
a
to be a
local
blast.
multiplayer too, which is great. And Toe Jam and Earl is fun too because they're two characters. You actually swap between
Mhm.
them, so they have two different play styles. But I think a lot of people that are going to pick up this game, they're going to immediately go to those guest characters, and
Mhm.
then they're going to start branching off and find themselves really enjoying the original characters too.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because sometimes we wonder how these guest characters are going to play out in these fighters, right? Mortal Kombat has been notorious for adding all types of guest
Oh
characters for the
yeah.
last years, to the point where they, instead of adding guest characters, they decided to build a whole new line called Injustice, right, and bring all the
Yep.
superheroes from the DC world there. So. It's crazy to see. And if you look at Smash Brothers, right?
Of
God,
course.
it's like an annual event. What crazy character they're going to bring from some random realm? But the beauty about it is that if you give the characters the love that they deserve,
Hmm.
um, it's a great experience. You
Well,
can come in and not be a fighter at all, but enjoy that character and say, "Hey, you know what? This is actually kind of cool. I actually want to play the rest of the game and try the rest
absolutely.
of the characters."
Well,
Uh,
when talking with the developers about this, they worked very closely with all the property holders
mm,
and got approval for everything. And there's a lot of, like when people look at Smash Brothers, they go, "Oh, look at all the little touches on all these characters." It's the same
Absolutely.
thing here. Like there's a full story mode for the characters, which is great, animated everything, and voiced. But when you get, like, if you play ukulele, for example, and you go through their story, instead of the standard voices, it's the ukulele, like the rare rah, 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 rah,
Mhm,
that's in their games. And they're like, wait, why are we talking like this? And they actually draw attention that suddenly now they're talking like, completely different. And I love
mhm.
that little attention to detail that they even added. And of course, there's levels based on each of the characters. So like Toe Jam and Earl, you have Funkatron and stuff like that. And you have the Mighty Fight Federation logo in the Toe Jam and Earl
Mhm.
font and stuff like that. It's really cool they did some stuff like that. Bloodstains levels in 2D. It's, as opposed to 3D, because Bloodstains a 2D game, so you do get that 2D style level in there too.
No, I love it. I love how you've paid homage to all these different properties, and I think the best part about it is that this is something where it hasn't gone through 12 different iterations just as a cash grab, right? And I'm looking at you, Call of Duty. And this is why I love the independent studios so much, because they take the things we loved from the past and they take them to the next level. They're gamers like us that want to make great games for not only an audience for to buy for profit, but for themselves. These are games I think that most of them want to play and play with their own friends, and they think of it from that perspective. As a gamer, I want to create a new experience that leans on the great things that were brought from these amazing titles of yesteryear. So
Absolutely.
I could go on forever, but there's still one more game that we want to
Yes.
hit
One
and
more
talk
serious
about,
thing.
and that is Phoenotopia.
That's
Tell me
Phoenotopia
about
Awakening.
Phoenotopia and tell me what it is, because I think folks looking at it might not know right away,
No?
and so I think this game actually deserves a little bit of history and story exposition. So help us out here. What are we looking
Sure.
at, Barry?
So Phoenotopia Awakening is a 2D Super Nintendo style action RPG set in a fully expansive world, heavily influenced by games like Zelda 2, but with more modern bonuses like, fishing and cooking and, You have dungeons and towns and stories and quests and this grand adventure over this beautifully crafted and colorful world that will take your expectations and flip them upside down. Phoenotopia Awakening is a real passion project that unfortunately came out on the eShop and, like many games, sunk because it just too many games. It just got lost, and had the developer actually had been approached twice prior to us, and they were going to be signed, but the other publishers were not happy with the digital sales and backed away. So when we approached them, he's told us, "Don't go with us. Like, you don't want our game. The sales suck." And we're like, "We don't care about the sales. Your game is amazing. We want to put your game out there. We want to give your game a new attention because it's just a beautiful game." And we all played it. And that's one of the things when we release a game, we all have to play it on the team. We all have to love the game. We all fell in love with this game, just like Mighty Fight Federation and Cathedral and all our releases. And this game is just this has become the darling of Series 3, and I think a lot of people didn't expect this when the trailer launched in our direct. It kind of took everybody by surprise, and I think that was one of the things that people left the direct with, like, I've never heard of this game, but I must own it right now. So as you can see, you do of course get the retail case, and I want to say all this art that you see is done by the developer and his artists and fan arts and all stuff he had commissioned. So we had no hand in this at all. This is the game he wanted, his dream game. So we're making it into a reality for him. So you have, again, the retail case. It comes with a beautiful full color manual, the challenge card to earn your challenge patch, and that slip case with the NES style sleeve. Then we have that's in the premium standard. In the retro, you also get a 2-disc soundtrack. Beautiful music in this game. You get a chibi keychain, which is exactly what the developer wanted. So we're giving it to him, and the keychain's beautiful, and a lot of chibi keychain collectors out there love this. And then the retro-inspired box, done as a Super Nintendo style, so it's horizontal. And the artwork there is actually paying homage to Zelda 2's artwork, where if you look in the official Zelda 2 art, there's a artist drawn by it's of Link walking away from the castle with his weapons, heading off on adventure. And the developer said they loved that picture so much because it encapsulated the game, so they wanted to pay homage to it in the retro box, which you see the main character Gale there walking away from her town with her map out, ready to go on adventure. So I love the way they were able to do that and incorporate all that.
It's fantastic, and it's definitely a throwback to me when I used to pick up a Square or Enix game when they were separate back then. And just the wonderful cover art, that would draw you in on these SNES boxes, and sometimes that is all you had, right? Because we didn't have all these games reviewed on the web as heavily as we do now. We didn't have trailers that were easy to see. There weren't any real television spots for a lot of games either. And so sometimes all you had was that art to draw you into the box, and then flip it over and maybe see a couple of panels of what the gameplay might be like. But no, I love the story about this game because I'll tell you, just yesterday I was going through the eShop because I was trying to get my digital copies of, Diamond and Pearl, right, to start that crazy adventure. A nice throwback. And I was just trying to go through the eShop just to see what else was out there, and it's so terrible. The navigation is terrible. It's so slow. And then it's weird because sometimes the game is available there, but you can't find it. It won't pull it up. It'll error out. It's weird things all over the place with the eShop. I mean, it's definitely the worst of the big three, I would say.
You're right.
Sony is just as bad when you try. They put all the DLC, and even when you eliminate the DLC, you have all this random stuff to pop. So it's almost impossible to find great games that come from small developers because they're not weighted in the system. And so if you don't get a lot of traffic for the games, if you don't get a lot of sales initially for the games, then they get buried right away and people forget them. And it's very important. And so that's why what you guys do is so amazing. So I don't want to talk any more about it because I have to show the trailer because this is a must-have game in my opinion. If you're going to buy anything this is the one because it just looks beautiful and it just looks amazing. So
Just pay attention to the
let's get it
sprite
going.
work.
Yeah, I had to let it play until the very, very end because the soundtrack is just so amazing.
Absolutely.
And you could really see it is. There's just so much love and attention to the detail in this game, and I commend the developer for the passion that they put behind this, and I'm hoping that people pick this game up, through premium edition games, and they're like, this is amazing, I need to tell my friends, and that you guys are doing a second and third release on this because it looks that beautiful to me, honestly, and I love it. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm getting all three of them, man. Somehow, some way, it's gonna happen. As soon as we log off, it's gonna be a wrap. So I've got the links up already, so you'll see it come in. So that's the drop, right? That is drop 3. Anything you can tell us, even a little bit, a sneak peek at what drop 4 may be?
Well, I can tell you that Series 4 is in fact coming. We are working with developers and getting games lined up, but we like to move slowly. So each of our releases, we pretty much do a series every 6 months. We don't want to overflow people's wallets. I mean, we understand we're collectors as well. We're all, the whole team is collectors. So we understand that gaming is expensive, and that when companies will drop a release every week or every other week, it adds up. So what we do is with our series, we do the open pre-orders to give people time, and we do them slowly. So we won't have Series 4 until spring of 2022 is the estimate. And I say estimate because we won't release it. We won't announce, hey, there's a direct coming until these 3 games, at least the standard premiums, have shipped to customers, because we want them to know that we absolutely appreciate them and that we want them to get their games and start enjoying them before we move on to the next series. And that's one of the reasons we do the challenge patches, because how many people will buy games, especially from limited companies or smaller companies, put on their shelf and then never get to it? We are signing these games and we are putting these games out because these are games we're very passionate about ourselves. So with the challenge patches, you open it up, it's like an event. You go ahead and you tackle these challenges, and as people start posting them, it starts feeding, more people start doing it, the developers start getting involved. It really becomes an awesome experience. And that's what we try to do with each of our releases. It's not just, here it is, go for it, have fun. They're events. Even right now, we're going to have developer interviews going up onto the website, video and text interviews, so that people can hear right from the developers, see how they're doing, see what making the games are like. and get to know them on a more personal level. We also have our Discord. We have a Premium Edition Games Discord, and the developers are in there. So not only can you talk with other collectors, and we do allow all topics. So, you can talk about other companies too. That's fine. Share off what you picked up, what you got in the mail. We want to hear from it. We really have a great community in there. But the developers are there, so you can actually ask questions. And I don't know how fast they will respond, but people have been getting responses from the developers as well, which is really trying to bridge that gap. And that's what we're shooting for constantly. We want to really get everyone involved.
So Barry, I have to ask.
Of course.
Pre-orders are open from the 16th of November all the way to December 16th.
Yeah.
Right.
Keep it simple.
When am I getting the game?
Sure. So that's a great question, and a lot of people do wonder. So we will not order the cartridges until the 17th of December.
Okay.
We want to make sure all those orders get in, especially last minute. There's a lot of last minute orders. And because it is an open pre-order, we want to make sure we order enough cartridges right from the start. A lot of the other production, obviously you see the art is there, it's done. A lot of it is already past Nintendo because Nintendo has to confirm everything, which is why we have the art subject to change, because if they say, oh, change this or change that, we have no choice. But we've learned a lot over the past two series and how to speed up the process. So we're looking at an estimated 3 months from time of closing for the premium standards, and an estimated 4 months for the retro. That's we consider that to be a fair bit. And so December, so you're looking into March for the premium standards and April for the retro. And if you think about it, that's in spring, just in time for Series 4 to be announced.
Yep.
So we're keeping on this cycle of usually anywhere between 4 to 6 games a year. Not every series is going to be 3. Series are usually 2. This just happened to be a case where we were going to make it only 2, and Mighty Fight Federation fell into our lap. And when we were talking with the developers, we loved the game, and we asked them, is there any more characters coming? And we were prepared to show this off as a tease for Series 4. And they said, there's no more characters. The game is done. We're like, well, if the game's done, let's do it. Let's just incorporate it. So sure enough, we got the game out there. And that's what we try to do. Like Robot Named Fight, we signed really early. And the developer said, hey, there's a big content update I'm planning. And we said, well, we're not going to put out the game yet. We're gonna tease it. We teased it in our first direct, but we shelved it until it was all done, because we want to make sure that you're getting the premium experience when you purchase our games.
Yeah, and that's amazing, because I can't tell you how many times I've bought a game and it's just a rollout after rollout DLC, and I tell myself I should have just waited a few months till they all got packed into some great edition. And the funny thing is that sometimes, or I'd say most of the times, that never happens, right? You wait and there isn't that great final edition that comes out. It's you end up scurrying to whatever online store you go to download the DLC, and every time you try to move, you have to get it on that next system.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because if you look at the even just 2 generations ago, like the 360 PS3 Wii era, that was with a lot of games where DLC started to get really dominant, but then they would release like the Game of the Year editions with all the DLC.
Yeah.
What was great about that era is that you were able to buy those Game of the Year editions and have it complete. If you look at last generation, PS4, Xbox One, Wii U, you still got those Game of the Year editions, but when you opened it up, what you got was the same disc that was originally released with a download code for all that stuff. So you didn't really get a Game of the Year edition. You just got the launch edition with the download code. And that, to me, is terrible, because you're not preserving the full game. You're just getting the bare minimum.
Absolutely. I mean, you had crazy things happening, like when the PS Vita existed.
Yep.
Well, it still exists. I don't want to say it, because it's still a great
vaporized from the world.
But and it's crazy, because I still get games for the Vita, but I'm buying them through PlayAsia, new things that come out there, and still collecting some of the games I never got. But a standout to me was Final Fantasy. I believe it was
10,
9
10,
or so. Yeah, 10 and 10-2. I'm sorry, yes. And one of them was on the disc, on the cartridge, and then the other one you had to download. And I was like, what in the world? This is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. One of them is physically there, and then the other one I have to go get.
Well, on the Vita, in that case, you can actually get the Asian English version of 10.2, which does exist
Mhm.
as a physical,
Yes.
but that is a very big problem on the Switch. There's a
Mhm.
lot of games like that on Mega Man, especially Capcom. Mega Man Legacy Collections are like that.
Mhm.
The Resident Evil Origins, the Revelations, the triple pack, which isn't really a triple pack, it's Resident Evil 4 and 2 download codes. Final Fantasy 10, 10.2, ironically, on the Switch is exactly like that, except if you get the Asian English one released by Bandai Namco, you get 10
Mhm.
and 10.2 on the card. So
Yeah.
sometimes there is a way around it, but it's an unfortunate thing that we hate to see, and we're going to make sure. Even for example, all our games we've been able to fit on the smaller cartridge because there's different cartridge size. Mighty Fight Federation is most likely going to be too big for that. We're going to have to go up, and we're not charging any extra. We're going to do that to make sure that the full game is on cart for people
Yeah.
because that's what we stand for.
No, and I think things get even weirder now with the Switch, where some games you have to stream, so you don't
Mm.
really even have the full game. It's something that
Ah.
needs to be streamed off of a server, and I don't know if folks realize that at some point licensing gets lost to
Mm.
either the music or some of the properties that are in these games, and that thing needs to get pulled off, or
Oh yeah.
like most organizations, they're going to pull the whole bloody server down because they can't afford to keep a server up for a game that hardly anybody plays anymore. So
Exactly.
it's one of those things that it's painful to think about with the current gen. That's how I have to say current gen because I can't say next gen anymore, right?
Nope.
We've actually had the PS5 and the Xbox Series X for a year now, which is insane.
Yes.
But it's great to see that on the Switch at least, and this is what I love about the Switch. And I have my issues with Nintendo for different reasons. From a hardware perspective, and I think it's because they're one of the few companies that's profitable when they release hardware,
Mm-hmm.
because they're selling us older hardware. And now they have amazing IPs, which is the other side of the fence, right? Which they prove that you don't need amazing hardware to make great games. And I feel from a retro collector perspective, from someone who likes to support indie developers, indie gamers, this is the last safe bastion where you get cartridges, right? And you can get that old nostalgic feel. It's like the Switch is the ultimate retro machine when you think about it. It's going
Yeah.
to when it's gone, it's going to be the same as the Vita was, where you're going to have a bunch of companies that are still making cartridge games for it, even though it's a 20-year-old system, and I think
Well,
that's going to be amazing.
that depends on Nintendo because the carts are made at a Nintendo facility, and the reason there's
Oh,
no more new Vito is because Sony shut down that plant.
yeah,
So if Nintendo ever shuts down the plant, that's it for Switch. So and just so people are aware, there are minimums. You can't just be like, I want to print one copy of this game and just have one out there. Nintendo, at least Nintendo of America, will not run a print of a game unless it's
yeah,
at least 5,000 units. So any Switch game out there, at least any ESRB rated North American Switch game out there,
hmm
there is at least 5,000 copies of any of those games because that is the bare minimum. And that's why when we do our open pre-order, we're guaranteed to print 5,000. If we sell 2,000, we're still printing 5,000. We'll sell the other 3,000, on our webpage or
yeah.
through conventions. But we do the open pre-order because if there's more demand than 5,000, we want to accommodate that. So there's always a chance of it going higher, and that all depends on people's interests.
No, that's amazing. Well, Barry, so one of the things we love to do on the show is we like to find out what our guests are playing. So what's going on in your world? What are you and the guys at Premium Edition Games playing besides the games that you're pushing out?
But we are definitely playing these games, and we're playing them just because we love them, and we're trying to stay up on it. We will be discussing them more. Personally, I'm slowly, and I say slowly because life is just crazy right now. Slowly working through Shin Megami Tensei 5 on my Switch.
Oh,
Really enjoying that one. Animal Crossing pulled me back in with the latest update, so I've been playing that. Pokemon Unite still has me at least doing daily stuff, and I enjoy doing that when I'm not paired with morons. Those are like the main things right now I'm focusing on. I'm still playing some Final Fantasy 14. The Endwalker is about to come out, so
Mhm.
I'm just finishing
Mhm.
stuff up. And I actually because I don't have a lot of time, I've been dabbling a little even in mobile. Still playing Dragalia Lost, which is one of Nintendo's few mobile games that has still captured me, and at least enough to do daily stuff. And but time is hard to hard to find for gaming these days, especially with the
I
series
hear
one.
you. 24 hours is not enough to get your normal life and gaming in.
No, it's not.
Even I struggled. I selfishly streamed Brilliant Diamond yesterday because I wanted to play it.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no. And so I did a what they call an endless stream, right? No commentary, no nothing. Like, hey, while you fall asleep, if you want to see, gameplay of Brilliant Diamond, go ahead. I'm not commenting because I'm enjoying the game right now. And so if you don't want to play the game yourself, well, just log in and watch me play, and hopefully I won't frustrate you too much, because I am one of those completionists. So I like to look everywhere to get every last thing possible. I'm one of the few people that likes to complete the Pokédex. Don't even get me started on games like Diablo when I play that, because I'm hunting all the armor, I'm hunting all the different variations. It's like it gets bad.
I think that's one of the reasons I don't stream, is because I'm that type of gamer, and I don't think that type of gamer is very entertaining. Like, I don't think I would entertain people, because it would be like, oh, the story says go right, and I'm like, yeah, but there's a whole bunch to the left. I'm gonna go check out what's there first, because there could be a side quest or a power up or an upgrade that I would normally miss, and then I'm gonna move to the right. So that's the kind of gamer I'm at. So.
Yeah, well, you see the whole world map, and I'm that person that's like, hey, there's 2 pixels on the left all the way at the bottom that I did not explore.
Gotta do it.
I just need to go find out what's going on there.
You're gonna really love Phoenotopia Awakening then. And Cathedral the same, but in terms of exploration, there's a ton of hidden stuff. I mean, a ton of, and you're rewarded for your exploration, which is the best part. If you want to explore all the way to the right and you need to go left, you're gonna get something good for going to the right. There's a reason that exists on the map.
Well, and believe it or not, I am not disappointed at all with the timelines. I think it's perfect, because by the time I finish, Pearl, Diamond, and Arceus, and a couple of the other games that are on the roster for the fall, it fits perfectly in line with the spring of the new set of games that I need to start playing. And so I get to churn through these, and I'm already talking like I got them. So I'm manifesting it to the universe that once we're off, I can get my pre-orders in, and we'll be in a good place. All right. Well, Barry, it has been a pleasure. Folks, please go out there, support Premium Edition Games. They're doing great things, good people. And, I love how they're supporting the indie dev community and supporting us gamers, right? Making sure that we're getting the complete package and everything that we're buying. Mm-hmm. And the love and care that's put into these retro bundles is truly fantastic. It is a collector dream. If you're someone that likes to collect physical copies of games, and you love all the little extras, right? Even the chibi keychains. I'm not even knocking it. I actually have a bunch of them, and I didn't start out wanting them, but it became one of those things where I was like, hey, where's my vinyl acrylic keychain? There's not one being included here. And so I have a whole drawer that's just full of these things. And my wife's like, are you keeping all that? I'm like, yeah, I'm not throwing these out.
well, I can tell you, I do have a little bit of bad news for you. And for anyone watching, the Cathedral Retro Edition just sold out. The Phoenotopia is very close to selling, and Mighty Fight is right behind. There's a reason these games are very much in demand. But like you said, premiumeditiongames.com. Definitely come get the games while you can. And again, the regulars are open pre-order. I
was selfishly trying to hide it. Guys, seriously, go get it.
This is live. I mean, this is happening live. When we started, I told you there was very few left, letting you know, and it sold out in the span of less than an hour. Because
you did warn me. You did tell me.
These games are amazing, and all of our games are amazing, and we selfishly think so, and hopefully when you get them and you play them, you will also agree. And that's one thing we love, is we love feedback, and one of the places we get that is our Discord. And one of the things we do in our Discord is we also have a suggested release channel, because there's tons of games that people say, oh, this was lost in the eShop, please make it physical. So bring it to our attention. We'll do what we can. We can't guarantee things, but Phoenotopia Awakening, that beautiful game, we didn't know about either. Somebody brought that to our attention. Someone said, we were like, how does this not have a physical? And it's because of that person that we reached out to them, and now the reality is it's getting a physical. So let us know. We will do what we can. We're not going to take on 100 games, but we will absolutely do what we can to try and get all the games that people want out there to the best of our ability.
Folks, and don't worry for the VOD of this video. I will make sure I get all the links from Barry, so you'll have all that in the description. So whether you want to follow them on Discord, Instagram, Twitter, it'll all be there. But the quick way to do it is go to Premium Edition Games, and while you're pre-ordering the games, you can start adding their socials to your social media and follow them, so you don't miss out on games like Cathedral and Demon's Tier. But no, again, Barry, it was a pleasure. Thank you for coming on and sharing this with us and letting folks know all these great games are out there. Thank you for what you're doing for the retro community and for us collectors. I think it's fantastic. We'll continue to support you and all your endeavors. And stay here, folks, because we're going to always catch up with Barry and the whole Premium Edition Games family, find out what they're doing, and keep you in the loop, right?
Yeah, I want to be back for Series 4.
Absolutely. So you are welcome. You just let me know the date when you're free to talk about those games. You're on. All right, everybody. Well, once again, thank you. This is That Game Dragon. You've just been watching Conversations Live, Premium Edition Games. All the information will be available after in the description for all their socials, links, things like that. But one last time, I'm gonna pop it up. There it is. Premium Edition Games. Go get those copies now because they're running low. And finally, final reminder, please, Movember, go to our site, donate on our behalf. We're going to hopefully try to get a charity event out, a 2-hour streaming event. I'm going to try to bring some guests on. We're going to maybe have some giveaways and all types of fun stuff happening. So, do the right thing. Try to save somebody. If you don't want to donate to our Movember, hey, you can go to Movember.com and you can set up your own account and set up your own fundraiser. You can do a cool event. You can have a walkathon, whatever you want to do. But, let's take care of each other. Let's keep each other healthy. Let's be safe. And that's really it, everybody. So thank you for joining. We'll see you next time.